Hey, what's up, folks? Welcome to Life with Brock. I am at my workbench, aka the kitchen table, with a project that I probably shouldn't have taken on. I was going to finish that juggernaut, but instead I am going to be repainting. As you can see, I've already started repainting the Wolverine motorcycle that came in that 2-pack for my buddy Eric Eisner. Why I'd said yes to this, I have no idea. Craziness. So I'm gonna wait until a few of you hop on here, maybe 10. I know it's a Sunday night and some of you Dodger fans are a little boo-boo faced right now, but hey, Red Sox were a better team. They really were. Their pitching was incredible. Red Sox pitching was better than the Dodger pitching, no doubt about it. So as I was saying, I'm repainting this Wolverine bike. I'll talk about what I've done so far, and it was a humongous pain in the patootie to take it apart. Holy smokes, I'm glad I didn't do it in front of people, but as you can see here, I destroyed part of this pin, and I'll talk about it in a second. What's up, Iron Boy? I do. I'm in SoCal. So waiting for some more people. Let me get some more tools here handy. Hey, what's up, Gookson? Welcome to the stream. Little impromptu stream. I had a lot of things going on this weekend. No time to myself, except for right this minute. Actually, I ended up taking this bike apart during the Green Bay Rams game, and then my internet cut out. I think the Rams won. But that's how long it took me to take this apart. Yeah, what time is it here? It is 8:15. 8:15, so you guys are 3 hours ahead out in New York. What's up, Jacob? You haven't missed anything. I haven't started yet. We do have over 10 people in the stream now, so I will start. Now, you guys may not recognize what this is at the moment, but this is going to be the Wolverine bike that came in that 2-pack, similar to the Black Widow with the bike. This is the Wolverine bike, and I ended up taking it apart. And it was just a pain to take apart. So let me talk about that first. If you decide to paint this bike, it is a good idea to take it apart. However, you could probably paint the bike as is, like with all the components, but you won't be able to get all, as neat or as detailed with your painting. So the first thing that I tried to do is I tried to remove all the glued pieces that were on the bike. And as you can see here, there's going to be some nuts that I ended up taking out in this pin. So those screws, I said nuts, didn't I? Those screws, I ended up taking it out from here. And that was actually the first thing I did. I removed these screws. Now, that actually didn't help much at all. Because most of the things are glued together. And let me see if I can find a bit so I can show you. We'll just start talking about this. So the way these work is these guys, let me just show you all the little different parts that you'll know that you'll have to take out. So if you can see those, there's like divots inside that wheel. That tire, I should say, that match up to this. I'm not sure if they were glued in or if it was just factory tight, but after you heated this up, you can pop these guys out. But the problem is, let me see, where's the other piece? Okay, here we go. I gotta take it out. So these front forks, so it's gonna go something like that with the tire on there. See that? And then this guy, as you can see, is a little bit damaged right there. This guy goes like this. Now, to get this out, I thought I could punch the pin out. So I tried punching the pin out. You can see it's a little bit damaged right there. Sorry, Eric. It's not going to be a perfect job. But hey, you get what you paid for, playa. So I wasn't able to do it. And now I watched a video, Punker Mike, he's an ACBA customizer, and he actually took this bike apart. And as you can see, there's a pin right there. That should be able to be removed, but it's glued on. I tried to heat it up. I tried to put in, I tried to use my needle nose pliers to pull this off. I was just not able to do it. So what I ultimately ended up doing is I heated this guy up. And as you can see, it's a little bit damaged right there. That's just from, I tried to pull the pin out with a screwdriver. So I heated it up, got it soft enough, so to speak, and then I was able to pop it off. And for the most part, I was able to get a lot of this stuff off. Now it's not gonna wanna come off, but anyway, there you go. Then I tried to do it on this side. I just wasn't able to remove it, so I actually just painted it on the spoke. And now I'm just starting to paint this sucker. So I was able to remove that. And then let me cast this aside. This was on here somewhere. I'm gonna have to figure this out, how to put this back together. So maybe you guys will see how I put this back together. That's gonna be a challenge for me. I'm terrible with puzzles. Maybe you can help me. So this was able actually just to be removed. It's just a little bit of heat and this was able to pop off. This was on the fork itself. Let me just set this aside. The seat was also just be able to pop off. I heated it up. And let me see if I can show you. I can't really show you right. Oh, it's over here. So they have corresponding divots that the seat goes in. I'm gonna have to figure out again when I'm done painting how that goes. But essentially it's all just pieced together. Some parts are glued in, and those are the parts that really gave me trouble. And I ended up snapping a couple of the ends off. It's not a big deal. I can end up gluing them back. Let me see if I can find the end, because now that I've painted some of the stuff, it's gonna be hard for me to find. So this is an end piece on the bike, and I just don't have a picture for reference. But this is towards the end of the bike. This piece, as you can see, has a corresponding piece on the bike. Which side is it? Oh, I left the little lamp on there, that orange lamp. So this is this piece on the other side. But I'm trying to find the part. Oh yeah, here we go. The tailpipe. These parts right here they go into the bike, and I can't really tell where it is right now. I'm gonna have to use pictures reference for later. But this part was also inside the bike. I heated it up, it's glued, it was glued in there, and holy smokes, man, it would not go. So one of these little pieces snapped off, so you really don't need it because you could always just glue it back on, but I glued that little piece back on. I'm letting it cure as I'm still waiting. And yeah, so it was not easy. It took me a couple hours to take this bike apart. It was a pain in the butt. I was not happy. I regretted taking on this project as I was taking this stupid thing apart. But hey, he's a buddy of mine, and he's got no skills where the painting comes, so I'm gonna help him out here, and I'm gonna show you the video in the case that you wanna do the same. All right, let me take a look at who's in the chat. Let me say what's up to the people. There's about 19 of you right now. Iron Boy, what's up? Jacob Valdez, All New Animations, Uridvana, Trevor Signor, Tech Chucker, what's up, Matt, and Comic Book Beige, and some other of you folks that have not said hello. If you are new to the channel, this is the type of stuff that I do. Sometimes I'll make I'll go live like I'm going now, and it's real time custom making. That way you can appreciate what it takes. And other times I'll just cut video and then give you a finished product like a progression. If you're interested in that type of stuff, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell so you get notified when I do go live or when I put out new videos. All right, so now that I broke out, as far as I am going to break the bike apart, Let's talk about some of the paints that you're already seeing on here. Now, this bike has a lot of detail. It's actually a very cool looking bike, and holy cow, maybe in the future, when if I can get it for $9 like I got the Black Widow, I may actually pick it up too and make one, have this bike for myself, because it does have a lot of cool details. And as you can see, just giving it a little bit of paint, it just makes it look better. And this is just the beginning step. All right, so what did I do? First of all, I primered. I used Krylon paint. Let me pull one out so you can, some of you will ask. And I'm sorry, I said Krylon paint, didn't I? I meant Duplicolor. And this is just an example of one. You can get this at AutoZone. I get the black, the darker gray, and a white. So what I did was I spray painted it. That's the spray paint, and I primered everything. And as you can, let me just tilt the video up. That way you can see some of the stuff that has been painted in black. I primered it black, except for this guy right here. And the reason is I'll be doing a shade of brown in a second. So after I painted it, you gotta let the paint dry. And then what I wanted to use for the metal parts, I had this paint left that I was messing around with, that I used on the Silver Surfer. Go check that video out. This is the one that I ultimately went with. So I sprayed a little bit of mirrored chrome. I didn't spray too much on it because I didn't want it to be like a super chrome, like mirror finish. I wanted it to look a little bit dirty. And so I just light misted over it. Once I let that paint dry, then I moved on to this clear coat just to seal it. This is all acrylic paint. All acrylic paint, and that's the only stuff that I use. So then I use this clear coat to seal the base level down, and that just makes the paint a little bit harder to chip. This one I spray painted, as you can see, a little bit deeper. You can see the difference. This was just light mist. This one I went over a couple times. This one I did a little bit of a light mist because I wanted it to look different. And it's just amazing what you can do just with, light, and then, light misting to light misting over a couple of times, and it does change the color even in this silver. So then I moved on to the bike. The bike part's actually just gonna be a straight black, and it's probably not, it's not going to come out on the 7. I think this records at, I wish it recorded at 1080p so you could appreciate it a little bit more. And so I did the primer, and then I used this black backer. And this black backer, which is a little bit of a brighter black, and that's the best that I can explain it. And after I dried, see, there's the color of the previous paint. Whatever that's going to show through. I don't think so, because this is all going to be mounted. And then what I used to matte down the paint, I used this Krylon matte finish. I think I picked this up at Walmart. And this is the type of stuff that you want to be using on some clothing. Like on these saddlebags, I'll matte finish it at the end so it doesn't catch the light too much. Whereas in the metal bits, you want to use a oh shoot, I'm forgetting the name of it. You want to use, not flat. Oh gosh, what's the name? What am I looking for? What's the word I'm looking for? I'm forgetting the name, guys, because it's a little bit late and I'm tired from the weekend. But there's like 3 different levels. You go from a high gloss. You want to, on metal parts, you want to go high gloss. In this bike, I could have gone high gloss here. But Eric, I see I missed a little bit right here. I'm gonna have to hit that some more, but I'll catch that on another day. But he wanted something a little bit more matte because it is for Wolverine, and he's not a flashy dude. Let me see, is there anything else that I'm looking at? know. I'm going to use different paints. I'm just going to mess around because I really don't know. I really don't know what paints I'm going to ultimately end up using. I think I picked up a few paints here that I should be able to use, and then I'm going to have some washes that I will apply to these engines, and you'll see me do that right now. All right, let me see what you guys are saying. What's up, Ewing's 40th day? Jose, the original toy hunter, what's up? And Gabriel Roman. All right, so let's get going. I'm just gonna do a little bit on camera. I don't think I'll go very long tonight, but let's see what I'm gonna start with. Maybe I'm gonna start with a wash. Let's start with a wash in the engine compartment, see how that looks. So for a wash, let me see if I'm going to use this one or if I'm going to use the black. I think I'm going to use black. I'm going to use a Vallejo. By the way, these paints you can get at your local shops. If your local shops don't have them, you can go to eBay or Amazon. They all carry this. But it's better to go in the shops that do carry these Vallejo or the Citadel, because some of those guys that own the shops or work the shops, they do what do they call it? Wargaming or model kit. They do model kits, and they can suggest some paints to use. And I've gotten a lot of help from a couple of the folks that work there. So I think I'm just going to go with a black wash and see how that goes. Let me find a brush that I just want to use this on. I'm going to use this brush. You're welcome. You're welcome, Mag. Did I ever get royalties for Broconomics? No, that I did not get any royalties. Okay, there isn't. You don't have to be neat with your wash. You spread it over the paint that the area that you want to wash anyway. Let it get into the crevices of these designs, and then as the paint dries, it'll pull itself together. Probably. Let me see if I can use something to hold on to this. There we go. I might give it a couple washes. Are any of you Dodger fans? I'm just applying this pretty liberally right here, and as you can see, it'll get into the crevices. And I'm gonna have to add some more. Some of the stuff that if it goes too much, you can use your brush to get it out, and you can manipulate it. And this right here I'll talk about later if I remember. That's one of the little lamps that I wasn't able to get out when I took this thing apart. And the reason that's going to be fine because I'm going to use a clear paint and it's going to make it look like an actual glass on it. See what you guys are saying. Hey, what's up, IE Hunter? He says, what you mixed to make the wash? Well, I didn't make the wash. Actually, this time I paid $6. I ended up actually buying this for the, what was his name? General Grievous model kit that I did. I actually did a wash on him. But you can typically just take a black and put water in it. And, you know, you can do that with any color. Let me see if I want to do any washes anywhere else. Let me go through this again. One more time. This is already dry. And what it does do, it does change the color, but it changes the color lightly. It's like it makes it like a shade darker, which is cool because this is how I wanted this thing to be. Concho. Let that dry. By the way, guys, I don't take commissions. I just do this for fun. This isn't for me. This is one of the first things that I'm not doing for myself. Just helping out a buddy. I should have said no. He must have caught me on a good day, man. Because taking this thing apart was, I mean, it was a couple hours of my life that I'm never going to get back. I felt like cursing. This is a pain in the butt to take out. All right, so I think I'm going to leave it there. It's actually looking pretty sweet. Look at that. I think I'm going to do these guys right here. Come on, girl. To redo that. Exactly. Woohoo. Coño. I'm actually kind of nervous of putting this thing back together. Have any of you taken apart one of these bikes yet? All right, I need to use something else. This is madness. So I recently got these sticks that have these grips at the end, and this is gonna work really well from when I start airbrushing. And I do have the Juggernaut that I'm working on that I will be airbrushing here soon. Just been working like a dog. Just let it sit. That's it. All right, so those parts I'm gonna cast to the side. I think I'm gonna keep these chromed out without any smudging on them. I may change my mind later after I put it together, we'll see. So let me put these pieces to the side. And then I think I'm gonna start, I'm gonna do a little bit of, I'm gonna use different color of like a metal for these other, like for the kickstand. I'm gonna use different metal part, or different color metal, I should say. Move it. Same with that, all the forks and stuff. Okay. Hey, what's up, Mag? Ooh, man, that new beast does look good. I have a beast planned, and the way my philosophy is if I can make the figure, it'll mean more to my collection. So I think I'm just gonna go with the one I'm making. However, man, the articulation on that one looks superb. Superb. All right, let's do this as a base. I'm gonna use this thing called lead Belcher. Now these Citadel paints, they come in different tubs. I don't have those tubs anymore because I transferred all the paint here. I have a video I put out, I think last year sometime. It's on the channel on how to transfer paints. So what I'm gonna do here, actually I'm gonna test that out first. That's the one I want to use. There we go. When you're painting, you really want to do it lightly. This has already been primed. I just wanted to see what the paint looked like without adding a metallic medium to it. And it looks like it's going to be metallic enough for what I need it to be. Now this piece is all going to be one color, so I don't really have to worry about being like super finesse, painting with finesse here. I'm just covering everything. Obviously, if this was a couple different paints that were going to be going on the kickstand, I would probably tape it off on the areas that I didn't want to paint. And I'm just trying to go in the same direction the first time around. And if I end up giving it a different coat, I will move directions. Really should be holding that with something else. It'll make it easier to paint, but the problem is this grippy tools. There we go. Now we're good. So when I'm painting, I'm not, for those of you that have never done it before, see right there, I was just about to say I'm not pressing too hard, and I just pressed too hard. Now it's not going to be that big a deal with this, but just keep that in mind when you're painting. Try to have like a light touch, because the harder you press, the more paint you're going to transfer over. Be very mindful of that when you're first starting off, because you will use more paint than you'd ever could imagine needing. So when you're going to put paint there, like I put a ton of paint. This is do the opposite of what you're seeing here. Put less paint on there and go a little at a time. Now, I've already pre-mix this paint. If you go back into that video, you can see what I used to mix the paint. So this has already been cut down, so it won't dry up as fast as these paints typically do. These acrylic paints dry up super fast. Now, I don't think I need to paint this area because that's going to go on the inside, but just in case, if I'm remembering incorrectly, you're going to see that's going to be a marked difference, or it should be a little different than what you're seeing here. After that wash, it made it get a little bit closer than I wanted. Okay, I'm gonna paint this. Let me switch over to the comments, see what you guys have. Looks like that's a lot. Yeah, Gabriel, I was born in Cuba, so that's where I learned my Spanish. Nightshade said, "Hey Brock, did you ever look into the 1996 armor?" Yes, I did, and I had it on my pile on eBay. I was watching it, and because I had spent so much money, I opted not to buy it just yet. You just dry brush this on here. By the way, this could be done with an airbrush. I just haven't gotten comfortable with my airbrush yet, and I just had a moth fly by. And the advantages is that you wouldn't see brush strokes like that on an airbrush. I hate the fact that I'm touching it. But this actually may end up looking cool. It may end up giving it a weathered look, or helping to give a weathered look. I haven't decided how I'm gonna finish this yet. I'm more of like an eyeball guy. I kind of have an idea of the colors and paints that I'm gonna be using, but that can change as we move along. Some of the black is seeping through, but I'm okay with that for right now. Do the seat later. Yeah, I think this may actually have to be black. You know what? Hold on a second. I need to pull up a picture of the Wolverine bike. Wolverine bike. I'm on my iPad if you're wondering what the heck I'm doing right now. Wolverine bike, Marvel Legends. Eric didn't send me the cutout of the box, obviously, but it's cheaper to ship without it. Let me see what this looks. Okay, so this part I think shouldn't need it to be fudge. I should have taken pictures of this. Okay, so no, this goes on the tire. Oh, this is the fork. This is the fork. Okay, good. Phew! Concho Chico! I can't remember where this goes. I think this goes towards the back. And I feel like that's black, man. Oh well. I'll move that to the side. Figure that out later. Let me get back to the comments. Oh yeah, talking about bees. So yeah, that face, I like the face. It wasn't super great. I saw one, and I'm gonna forget the name of the customizer right now. But he used an absorbing man head, and he sculpted the hair on it, and that screaming absorbing man head that I recently got from a fellow customizer in an exchange of parts. Looked pretty darn good. So I'm going to try to sculpt that. The hair once I start working on the Beast Custom, whenever that ends up being. No timetable. I have like 60 customs planned. Pretty ridiculous. So here you go. I'm not sure if you've seen this, but just taking a little bit of the paint off, it will help. I can already feel the paint on the tip of this brush drying. So I got to be mindful of that, because if it gets too dry, then it won't paint. It'll start pulling some paint off, as it's kind of doing there. Let me just clean off the brush real quick and start over. Put some water in that paint and it'll give it some life. I saw Masterpiece Customs, Chris Serta. He uses a sponge and he puts the paint on top of a wet sponge and it keeps it going. And I've thought about doing that in the past, but I haven't thought through it enough to actually prepare to do it. Maybe one of these days I'll have to go pull up that video I saved when he did that. I've actually seen the technique done by others on YouTube that don't do necessarily Marvel Legends customs, but they do like miniature paintings, or they work on miniatures like the game now I can't remember, Game Workshop or something like that. Okay, so the forks are good. What am I gonna do with the handlebars? I think I might keep those black. I'm gonna paint the brakes. That's the mirror. I can always change this up later. If I don't like it, just paint it black, back to black. By the way, guys, I try to do this on camera for you, to inspire you or to give you an idea. And then if you've been following me, I've said this before. When I first started doing this, I wish there was more videos out, because that's how I seem to learn better. It's hard. I know why there weren't, because it's hard to do this in front of people. Not just in front of people, I should say. It's like, it's uncomfortable. I have to be mindful of, is it focusing right? So right now, this phone's not focusing on this piece. So for you to watch it is not very pleasant. And on top of that, it's not 1080p. All right. Well, that's a start. May want to paint this part too. So I'm painting this sucker like if it was gonna go in my collection. That's why I can never, I don't think I can do this for money. It would take me just way too long. And then I'd be concerned now, and you know, I'm painting it like it's for me, but it's not gonna be for me, so I don't want Eric to look at this and go, oh, look at that, he missed his spot. Even though he's most likely not gonna say that. I'll also go punch him in the mouth. Just kidding, Eric. Just kidding, man. Okay, that's cool. All right, I'm gonna leave that alone. Let me take a look at the comments. Thanks, Nightshade. Yeah, exactly. It is a gunmetal color. Oh, I forgot to cap this thing. It's called Lead Belcher. Lead. Let's see. No, I didn't see Shartimus' video yet. The primer that I showed earlier, I get at AutoZone. Okay, I think that's good. So this is what it's turned out to be. Let me show you the difference of a piece that was chrome, and this is what it looks like after the wash. Isn't that crazy? So I'm gonna keep the pipes chromed out without a wash. But that's the difference. Pretty cool difference, man. I like it. Eric, if it keeps on going, I'm not even sure if you're gonna see this video, bro, but if it keeps on going like this, I think you're gonna be very happy with your new bike. Oh, that's off screen. I'm looking at it off screen. Hey, if you have friends that enjoy custom videos, make sure you share this video with them, or pick a video of mine that you think would be they would be interested in, and shoot it on over to them. I'd appreciate it. I'd like to get to 10,000 subs simply because there's more options that YouTube is giving the creators. Not that I'm doing this for anything other than a hobby. I do it as a hobby, period. But it'd be nice to be able to do the polls, because I was thinking about matter of fact, I had planned on it. I just didn't know it was a feature that I needed to have 10,000 subs. It's going to be a while before I get to 10,000 subs, unless one of my videos like goes super viral, like the Spider-Man video did for me a while ago. But I would like to get to 10,000. That's my next goal. Get to 10,000, so I'm able to use the YouTube features. Hey, what's up, Rashawn? What's up, Art? I'm sure if you guys follow me, you follow 978 Customs. He recently put out how to paint web lines, and it was good to see him do that. And now he takes commissions. Pounds 978. I'm sure you guys know who he is. He's doing pretty well for himself. I think he's up to like 15,000 subs, but it's good for him because he does do it for money, or he takes commissions, I should say. And he does really good work. His specialty is the Spider-Verse, obviously. But just go see what it takes to paint those web lines, and that's just one aspect of his customs that he has to do. And then some people, I'm sure he's had some people complain about how much he charges. And I've never bought a custom, and most likely would never buy a custom actually from anybody, because I can do them my own. or myself, I should say. But look at the work that it goes into it. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of time and a lot of skill. And those customizers deserve to get, you know, what they charge. And if you can't afford it, hey, come to my channel and pay attention. And as I learn as I get better, you can get better. You can learn from me. Or if you have the bucks, go give him some commissions. Seems like a good dude. Guano Chico, I like what he's been doing recently on his videos. He does these voiceovers. Pretty funny. Oye, Chico, vamos a hablar. He does a little Spanish voice. It's pretty funny. He's got a good personality. I enjoy his videos. Anyway, that's my plug for him. All right. That's probably going to need a second coat, but that's the front end of the bike, which takes some damage anyway from the bugs and such. I think I'm going to move on and paint some brown. Let me take a look at what you guys are saying. Hey, thank you, Jose. Thank you for saying that. Yeah, very true. Very true. And it becomes, you know, these guys, like Pounds, I think, is selling one of the big spiders. I forget what is it Riot? He did a Riot spider. And let's do the brown. This, I have no idea what I'm going to pick. Should I go with some, you know what? Let's do mahogany. Why not? I pulled it out for a reason. Do I have another brown back here? But I think he's, I had no idea who Riot is. I'm not too much a fan of the symbiotes other than the main two, Venom and Carnage. And I'm not really much of a fan of Carnage. However, did you guys see the unmasked heads that Sculptor Shelf did? I had to buy them. I bought, I'm going to paint them up myself, but man, those things are so good. Did any of you guys get the Sculptor Shelf heads? I know he was charging, for painted ones, he was charging $55. And let me tell you, it's worth it. It really, they were so good. The scope was amazing. He was selling them for $15 unpainted, and that's the route I went. I think I'm going to use this brush again. Or should I use you know what? I'm going to use a different brush. Okay. And the first go at it here, I'm going to go a little bit heavier than normal. Yeah, I thought so too. $15 for it was a very unique sculpt for both. He also did a He-Man. I was a fan of He-Man as a kid. I just haven't gotten into it as an adult. It's a whole nother genre of figures that I really don't want to get into. I prefer the superhero. I'll stick to superheroes for now anyway. So I don't know what happened there, but some of this came out more reddish. I think what happened was I had too much paint on the brush and it came out looking different. I'm hoping this thing holds up here. I can't remember. Just trying to flatten out that paint so it doesn't look like there's brush strokes on it. And I'm looking through the phone here. I don't know how you guys are seeing this, but it looks like that's going to be flat on there, so I'm not going to have to worry about the underneath. You know what? Before I paint that more right here, I'm going to let it dry, and I'm just going to give it a second coat. And let's move on to the saddlebags, shall we? I feel like I should go with a bigger brush. This is what you guys are saying. All right, I'm going to put the paint. It's going to be out of your view, but it's going to be a little bit more comfortable for me. I'm fine with doing this. This is actually going to look like worn leather eventually. Gotta make sure this doesn't look sloppy back here. By the way, I washed these figures, and I know I've mentioned it in the past, but in case you're new to the channel or you're running into this, you want to wash your figures. And I just gave them a little warm bath with some soft soap. I used a soft brush, also like a toothbrush, a Spider-Man toothbrush for me, and let it sit in the water. Gave it a bath, brushed off. You know, there's like a, for lack of a better word, there's like a gloss on these things, like a factory gloss. Some of it could be from the mold, or it could be the finish that they put. But if you don't take that off, and then you try to paint, it becomes very difficult for your paint to stick. So after the wash, I gave it a primer coat, and as you can see, I just used a gray primer on this one. Nothing fancy. I usually do Senthol priming, which creates highlights and shadings and stuff like that naturally. I didn't end up doing it on this. I didn't think it needed it really. And this paint is drying up quick, players. That's what you guys are saying. You prefer, Kicktoy says he prefers the 12-inch figures best. That's what she said. Nightshade says, where can I find those sculptor shelf heads? They're already sold out. I'll sell you mine for $150. Just kidding. He's got a Facebook page and an Instagram page. I suggest that you follow him because he will be putting out stuff in the future. I should probably go deeper colors here, so that's why I'm putting in more, because this is the inside, and as you know, the inside's not going to get the sun hitting it very much. Yeah, the material here is actually soaking up the paint. And I think what I'm not sure if you saw this part right here. I just didn't primer too well back here. But that's just I'm just giving it a first coat. This is going to need more than one coat with this this particular color. And I may actually, after I'm done painting these saddlebags or giving them base coat, I may end the stream because I do have to work tomorrow. I'll be working here 6 days, I think through November. Working like a dog. I got some time off too coming though. Spend some time with La Familia. I'm gonna have to catch that. See, that was just the first pass. It didn't completely cover the gray, even though I'm adding a little bit more paint now, but I don't want to add too much and get completely sloppy. I like the fact that it's not covering completely, because when I apply it again, I'm gonna it'll just add more paint to the areas that already caught the brown, and it'll give it a different look naturally. And just like leather, see, that's already dry for the most part. And it'll have like a variegated look to that leather, and it'll look pretty nice. I may just send Eric. I'm gonna buy one of these, and I'm just gonna send him the regular bike back, and I'm gonna keep this. That'd be pretty funny, wouldn't it? But man, but you said. Yeah, it did. Sometimes you never know what this paint's gonna do on like what I can't remember who was the one that was mentioning it. It may have been you. Some material will take it different, and maybe that's what you were saying earlier. Yeah, that would be funny. Bro, I give it the Brock touch. Psych. That would suck. Let's see. At minimum wage, what's minimum wage now? I think it may be. Is it 10? I don't even know what it is. How long was that Green Bay game? Yeah, man, that Carnage is ridiculous, and that Eddie Brock too, man. They were must-haves as soon as I saw those. But anyway, oh, and speaking of Brock, Eddie Brock, that is, Super Tom Customs, a guy that I've featured on my channel before because I've purchased some of his product, and I really like his stuff. Like the stuff he does, and he does this as a hobby. He's just a very talented customizer. He's worked on a transforming Venom head from Eddie Brock to Venom. You know, the like a partial look. And as soon as that's available, I'm buying it. I think he's having Star Wars Geek cast it. That thing looked so tremendous. Go check it out. That way you guys know what I mean. Oh, I lost you guys. Hold on. What happened to the stream? And it looks so good, man. Super Tom's Customs. He's got a web page, but go check out his Instagram. And then you'll see what I mean. Okay, I didn't do a very good job here. I got to start focusing a little bit more. This paint, I didn't do a very good job painting this side of the bag. All right, I'm just going to catch that on the second time around. What is that you're making? That's another pumpkin pie. Smells good. My wife's cooking, baking. I am at the kitchen table, players. Oh, you did? What happened with the statue? Some guy did a bait and switch on you? You know, the painting here is going to be the easy part. The hard part for me is going to be putting this bike together. Have any of you done this to your bike yet? Those of you that have the Wolverine bike? I think I'm going to put the back end first. Oh, jeez. That's terrible. That almost happened to me with cologne. I was at the mall with my wife, and I'm going to forget the name of the cologne now, but I went by one of those kiosks, and they were selling this cologne. It smelled good. And there was two that I liked, and they were like, oh, okay, it's like $80 each. I'm like, okay, that's already too rich for my blood. You know, I was born at night, but not last night. You know how that saying goes? So I started talking to him, and the next thing it became, both were for $80. And then I'm like, you know, they gave me the sales pitch, this whole thing. But one of the things that my wife and I learned early on is that we never make an impulse buy. We used to do that when we were younger, and it was mistake after mistake. We learned the hard way by experience. So, walked away, came home, looked it up, found it on Amazon for $15. Bastards were trying to rip me off. Not that time anyway. All right, I'm gonna let that dry a little bit, then I'm gonna paint the underside. And then I can get back to the seat. Now the seat, hold on a second. I guess I can use this brush. If you hear a noise in the background, and it sounds like a dog lapping water or drinking water, it's my oh, that's the smaller German Shepherd. The small 80-pound German Shepherd is drinking some water. The 120-pound German Shepherd is currently not drinking water. That dude, you could hear that guy drinking from the next house over. I'm liking the color. Look at that. It looks different because of the material. Look at that, guys. Same paint. I may actually just keep the seat that color. It looks good. But that's crazy. I definitely, this will be the last bit that I paint, and then I'll be out of here to be continued next weekend after I do this. Okay, so those clips, they're called Alligator Clips. I bought them on Amazon. You can buy them anywhere. They're actually very cheap. I think I paid like $4 for like 50 or something like that. It was really, really inexpensive. And it's the first time I actually have gotten them. The wood ones, right? The ones with the bamboo. Hold on a second. Make sure I cover this. Vamos, niño. How many people are in here? We got 15. Lost quite a few people over in the East Coast. These are more like hangout sessions. Do you guys know where I could run a poll? Like a poll, like what, you know, top, like pick out of these 5 figures which is the next figure I'm gonna do type of poll. I'm gonna let that dry. I mean, I didn't really need to paint in there, but integrity. In case he decides to put something in here. Eric does ACBA. Guess what, player? That's about as deep as I'm gonna go. That's what she said. That never gets old. You're right. That's why I want to get to 10,000. Some of the guys that started around the same time as me that have, or just like a few months, have done really well. Their channel's grown faster, but they're able to pump out a lot of videos, and I just can't do it. You know, a big boy with a big boy responsibilities. Not saying that they're not. I'm thinking like the SOs. Sal does, you know, he does a lot of videos, and he's grown. His channel's jumped. He does a lot of cool things on his channel. I just, you know, he's still in school. I think if he becomes a big boy, he won't be able to put out as many. But then you got guys like Cincy Nerd. He's a big boy with a big boy job. and he's able to pump out all these videos all the time. So I guess, you know, it depends on what type of job you have. Mine doesn't allow for that. During the week, usually come home pretty tired. All right, so that's gonna be the first round right there. It's not bad. I think I want to give it one more coat of this brown, and then I may play around with the, like, I'll probably throw a wash on here and then do some highlighting. Yeah. Let's go one more round here. What time is it? Oh my gosh, 9:20 already. Yeah, Josh, he works at his family, at a family business, so he may have a little bit more latitude. Just my guess. Could be wrong. Matter of fact, I used to do these things called collector spotlights. I just really don't have all the time to do those, because I used to prepare. It was an interview format, but Josh was a pretty good interview. You should go check that one out. It was one of the better interviews that I had. I think the best, actually, that was a pretty fun interview. It went pretty long. All of them have been unique. They've all been different in their own right. But I think one of my favorite ones was with Dewdog. There was I gave him a lot of hard questions. He answered, I should say, a lot of the hard questions. Some of his critics were actually part of the chat. And he didn't back down. He answered every single one of those questions. And I mean, what a versatile guest. He was singing on there too, man. He's got a good voice. Plays in a band. Had a good time doing those. Maybe in the future, we'll see how it goes with the hobby and such. I may get back to doing those because I really enjoyed them. But right now, it's just a matter of time. That is a time commitment. Just like this is, but this is more of a spur of the moment. I like how that looks. Let's do the backside. Yeah, it does, which I'm good with. Like, it dries darker on. It's just the sculpt of this bag. You know, some of the spots are a little more raised, and some of it also it seems to suck in the paint a little bit more. Which again, I'm good with, because that's just going to give it that variegated look of that. You know, leather does that too. Know what I'm bringing? I really like this mahogany paint. I bought this paint to use on Juggernaut, so you will see this again, but it's going to be in airbrush, and you'll see how it even applies different there. I should have been going to the side because I did paint going down the first time, so now I'm just going to paint across. That should probably help give me a little bit more coverage. Painted these seam lines. Yeah, boy. Can't remember if I did that side or not. It doesn't look like it. I haven't given this side a second coat yet. I'll wait to paint the inside. I actually have one. There was a guy I was talking to on Instagram. I don't know what the heck happened to him, but I was gonna buy a jumpsuit from him for like 20 bucks, and I have the Marvel Select one that was actually my first superhero genre type figure that I ever bought. After I was collecting Transformers only at one point, and then. But anyway, I ended up extending the ab on that figure, so he's a little bit taller than the regular Marvel Select, but I never repainted it. And then, because it really just doesn't scale to my liking with Marvel Legends. So I let that go. It's actually looking pretty darn good, man. It's gonna look like worn out leather. But the one that I've kit bashed, that's definitely gonna be classic. The other one I wanted to do like the movie. I haven't actually seen the movie yet, but I've seen what the character looks like. All right, let's paint the top here. Put my finger right on the paint. What a dummy. Looking at the bike over here is looking pretty sweet. The metal parts. Man, I don't know if I'm going to be sending this to Eric. I'm going to change my mind. That's the 120-pound dog drinking right now. That's where I got it with my finger. Finally, I found it. I was going, where the heck did it go? It was right there. It's got my thumbprint right, or my... See, look at that. That's jacked up. That's what happens when you put your finger on something you're not supposed to. Got a little careless. So like I was saying before, let me see. I'm going. How many minutes are we on right now? 80 minutes. So that's an hour and 20 minutes here. I had spent about an hour before priming it. That's 2 hours and 20 minutes. And then while I was watching the game, I think that game lasted at least 2 hours when I was breaking the figure down. So I'm about 4.5 hours into this project. So let's say I got paid $10 an hour, that would be $40 right there. That's not including the paints that I'm using that I had to get to this. But guess what, guys? I don't make $10 an hour. I'm a big boy. So let's say I made $30 an hour. At $30 an hour as is right now, that's $120. I know most of you would not pay $120 to have your bike repainted. And guess what? I'm not even done. That's why I don't do customs, because it's not financially worth it for me to do it. Yeah, there you go. And also the know-how too, right? That's got to be worth something. Obviously, something that's coming from, let's say, somebody of the caliber of Chris Serta, Masterpiece Customs, should definitely be worth more than something that would be somebody that's at the same caliber as me, right? Because that guy's been doing it longer. His work is more professional looking than mine. That's just a little bit of an example. So when Pounds charges $300 for that figure, you got to also think how much the parts cost on that. Let's say he bought the figure for $50. That's right. He's only making $250 on that. I feel like I gotta keep giving this thing a little bit more love, but I need to let it dry. Is there something else I can move on to? Let me think. Maybe I'll try some of this. Oh, let's try. You know what? I'm going to give these other parts that I painted with lead Belcher, I'm going to give it this wash right here. I think this one has like a little bit of a redder tint. Let me see. Yeah. It's actually more of a brown tint. That's cool. Let's see how that changes. It'll make it look different than the motor, which I do want it to look different than the motor. I may actually use this on the leather portion too. You mean give it a dip? Never done it. I know that some people have colored entire parts doing something like that. I've just personally never done it. guys, I'm going to be doing some of this off camera, meaning that I don't know if this is going to be caught by the phone or not. And I am filming this on a phone. And I think I'm going to give that leather a wash with this for faux show. Definitely like the tint that it's giving it. That tape is just covering up the plastic, the white plastic for the lantern. Now I'm thinking that maybe golly, do I want to do it? I'm gonna let that dry first, see what that looks like. Let's give it like a gold tint to it. Kind of like it. This stuff is good there. I'm looking at these other parts that I may have to figure out later. But I think I may just give this guy a wash. Even though, and I think it may help tint those little areas that it's just not getting. I'm gonna do it. And I am going to use Agrax Earthshade. Hey, what's up, Matt? I just saw you hop in there. Yeah, dude. I'm surprised I'm still on too. I'm pretty tired, but this project's motivating me now. All right. Oh yeah. This is really good for leather. Agrax Earthshade. Is what you guys are saying. Yeah, Jose, having Ant-Man's tech, I think that might make it harder for me. Bigger surface area. I think it's better to paint it in miniature. I think it's easier. You know, and then our eyes can't really see the mess ups as well as if it was enlarged. What I would want instead is to all of a sudden, you know, have the skill of somebody who's been doing this forever. Say, snap my fingers and I have the skill of loose collector. Or Craig Warwick. I think Craig Warwick's my favorite customizer. I like also that he doesn't sell his customs. I don't know why I like that about him, but I do. Yeah, that's drying pretty good. Let's move to the back. Nightshade. What else we can say? Which part are you talking about, Kick Toy? So this paint is already made. It is for a wash. That's what the Citadel folks do. They do different types. They'll do glazes, and because for that, for those figures, they do a bunch of different things. They're even a smaller scale than what we're doing here. Inside a wash already or not? No, we did. I think this whole thing has been given a wash, except for the inside parts here. And I'm not sure how they go about it. I don't think they use regular paint. I think they may use a thicker paint. I don't know. I really don't know. It's dry and interesting. Let's move on to here, to this little guy. I'm gonna have to repaint the buckles on this guy. Okay, let that dry a little bit. Wait a second. Is this the side I did, or is this the side? I think this is the side I did. Okay. Matt says you could try doing a little dry brushing of a yellow ochre on those leather pouches. Gives them a nice weathered look with a wash. Leather ochre? Is that something actually for leather? Do you know what leather ochre is? Leather ochre? Do you know what leather ochre is? Matt, you're going to have to explain if that's the name of the paint. I do have some, again, this is just the beginning. Let me see, Matt's coming through here. Yellow ochre. What is that? Okra? Yellow okra? Is that okra? What's up, Solar Hunter? Also, Brock, oil paints give a nice look when weather and just takes longer to dry. Oh, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I want to get into oil paints. You know who else has told me that is Kyrus. Hector? Kyrus. He likes using oil paints. Maybe someday I'll add that to my tool belt. So far, so good on this, I think. Let's give the inside a wash. And sand color. So I do have a paint that I've used before to paint leather. It's called XV88. But that goes a little bit lighter than this. So what I'm planning on doing is using XV88 next to dry brush in some of the highlights. I'm not sure if I'm going to do that tonight. At least that was my plan. But I want to know what this is. It ochre or okra, like the vegetable? Still haven't resolved that one yet. Soul Hunter, this is a Wolverine, the Wolverine bike that I've taken apart and I'm repainting. And it's for Eric Eisner. He wrote me into doing this for him. I have no idea why I said yes, but I did. Oh, this is pretty dirty. I may have to, I don't know if I like it like that. But yeah, that's the Wolverine bike. So ochre, got it. Stippling? I'm gonna have to look that up. Is that like the dents of the leather? Oh yeah, making hair like hair that looks natural. Or are you talking about that you use a epoxy or Procreate to make the hair kick toy? Got it, okra. Oh, okay. Everybody seems to know this thing except for me, which is fine. You know, I think I'm gonna call it a night. Got a lot pretty good into this. I'm already going. How long am I going here? 90, almost 100 minutes. Holy smokes! Can't believe there's 21 of you still left in here. Thanks for hanging out. I think I appreciate the suggestion, and it looks like this project is actually going to turn out pretty darn nice. Pretty darn nice. And I'll planning on doing some again next weekend if I have time. Thanks for hanging out, and I will see you on the next one. Peace out. Boom.